Welcome back to Broncos and Parts Garage. My name's Chris. If you're new to the channel, please stick around till the end. You'll see additional links for content we've already created and uploaded. Lots of how-to videos and some silly stuff in the YouTube short section. I've got a guest mechanic named Christian with us today. Say hi, Christian.
How you doing, YouTube?
Today, we're going to be focusing on this 1997 Ford F350. I was actually picking up a Bronco to part out, and the rear tank started spewing diesel fuel. So we called our friends at Jeff's Bronco Graveyard. We were able to get the tank, the sending unit, the upper lower straps, as well as the rubber insulators, the fill hose. I'm going to put links for all this in the video description. If you're not familiar with that, just click on the title and it'll drop down and you'll see the links. All the tools we use, the lights, these great Amazon Cyclop lights, they're magnetic, they're really nice. We'll put links in the description for that and just about anything that we put our hands on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow along on, what are we on? Snapbook, FaceChat, InstaTalk, and all this other social media. You guys know what I'm talking about. Right now, let's get some tools and get started. We're fortunate enough to have a lift in our shop. If you have to do this in your driveway, use some jack stands, some quality jack stands. Make sure you chalk the front tire so you don't have to worry about the vehicle rolling forward, but this can be done in a driveway. We're gonna start on the lift. The very first thing we're gonna do is drop the spare tire. You're gonna need a 1/2-inch drive on an impact gun. We let these soak for about 45 minutes with PB Blaster. And again, we'll put links in the description below. So let's start right now and drop this spare tire. We put some time into removing this bolt. Unfortunately, the nut up top has been stripped out, probably by the previous owner or just from corrosion over the years. As you can see, it's pretty oxidized under here. It's a clean truck, but this is in bad shape. So we're gonna cut this off to get the spare tire off, and I'll replace this hardware at a later date. So look for something or an update in the comments later on. So we've cut the 1/2-inch drive bolt. Now, if you follow the brace under the wheel to the other side, you'll see right here, we've got this eye bolt and there's an opening. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna lower the tire a little bit and then slide this eyelet over to the bigger portion of this hole right here. This will swing down out of the way, or it'll pivot out of the way, and the tire should fall out. We've got it held up with this tall jack stand right now, but I'm gonna hold it while Christian pops that loose. So go ahead. All right, that's that. You're good. Now we just gotta lower it down. All right. Now we're simply gonna lower the wheel down and we'll be good to go. So we've got the spare tire off, and as you can see, it's not in the best of shape. It looks pretty old. I have no idea how I get that off on the side of the road anyway, because I don't keep the tools in there, but we'll get it cleaned up and put it back on when the video is complete. Okay, so there's the underside of the tank, and it looks like on the passenger side, one of the straps wore through the bottom of the tank. Again, I was fortunate enough to find this. There's some butyl rubber in between the tank and that strap. It looks like it just squeezed out and wore out over time. And again, we're gonna replace it with the rubber insulator from Jeff's Bronco Graveyard. So let's get these straps off now. Right now, we've got the tank supported with this trans jack. If you're doing it in the driveway, you'll have to be creative with a floor jack. We're gonna take off these 4 15mm bolts. There's 2 on the front, 2 on the back for these lower straps. Now, when we do that, we need the tank supported. It's empty right now, so if your tank still has some fuel in it, make sure you drain it first. But we need to lower the tank down a little bit to get to the fuel lines, because we can't reach it because the bed's in the way. So let's get these taken off and let's start lowering this tank little by little. With that, we've got the lower tank straps disconnected, and the bulk of the tank is now resting on the trans jack. It's day number 2 getting the gas tank out of the back of our F350. We ran out of time yesterday, but we did discover a few things. First, this will probably be the only video online that actually shows how we got the tank out. I looked online, there's a lot of videos where it's the finger snap video where the tank is there, the next minute it's on the ground, and people are saying how difficult it was. I'm gonna do my best to film that. There's not a lot of room between the bed of the truck and the chassis and those cross members to get our hands in there to disconnect the fuel filler tube, which we have to disconnect, as well as the sending unit and fuel lines. We also realized we may have to remove this Class 4 hitch. I'm not worried about removing the hitch. It's rusty, and I'd like to see if anything has been compromised over the years. We do know that we're gonna have to pull this exhaust back. So we're gonna disconnect it from some of the hangers and get a ratcheting strap and pull it out of the way. Hopefully that'll allow us to get the tank down a little bit further to get our arms up there. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're back. We are gonna remove the hitch. The hitch isn't gonna be in the way to put the tank in, but we wanna be able to get our camera up there. So getting this plate out of the way is gonna help out a lot. So go ahead and take that off, Christian. All right, we've got it held up with a jack stand right here, but now we're going to, I believe we should be able to simply take our jack out. I'm gonna do this off camera in case we drop it on our heads or our feet. We've got the Class 4 hitch off the F350. A lot of these have been up, guys, for 20, 30 years. So we're just gonna go over this real quick. Go ahead and we're gonna go over it real quick and just make sure that nothing's been compromised. Yeah, just go ahead and flake that stuff off. See if it'll flake off. Yeah. We're getting a lot of scale and a lot of the powder coating coming off, but I don't think it's been compromised. I think the powder coating's just swelling up a little bit, like right here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a little bit of metal coming off there, though. I don't know if that's good. Any of you guys want to comment in the comment section? I'm probably going to powder coat this and slap it back on or repaint it. I don't know. Maybe I'll call Kurt. This is a Kurt hitch. I'll call them and ask what they say. But all right, again, if you're pulling your hitch off, give it a once over. Probably be a good time to clean out the receiver tube and put some lube in there. We're under the truck. We're about to disconnect the exhaust hanger that's between the muffler and the rear axle. There's two of them up there. So what Christian's doing now is using a pair of blue channel locks to squeeze the hanger and the steel pin. That way, just forcing it right off. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, if there's any cursing, we'll edit it out. Can you just pull it off? Nope. All right. This is probably some of the stuff you don't see in the other videos, guys. It's hard to film under here. And these are the painful, crappy nuances of doing these small videos. All right. A little bit more lube up there, and go ahead and try to pry that off.
I would go in. There you go.
All right, we got one side. One side off. Let's get the other side. Okay, we were able to get 3 of the exhaust hangers pried off. We showed you how to do one. You just repeat the process. We were able to get this exhaust a little over, get one of the hangers under spring to hold it in place. Obviously the tank has come down a considerable amount. The only thing holding up right now is the fill tube on the other side, which we've disconnected from the body of the bed, but we're going to disconnect it from the tank. And our fuel lines, which are up here. I hope you could see that. We've sprayed a liberal amount of PB Blast around there. Thanks, Rick Carpenter, for giving us the heads up on that. We're gonna let that soak for a few minutes, and then we're gonna try to get these fuel lines separated. One thing I never mentioned is this tank was empty. It drained out. We siphoned the gas out, and then the rest of it just trickled out in the driveway. So it's really easy to move around, as you can see. Tank's in really good shape. I think one of the straps just tore a hole in it. Again, we went with a metal tank from Jeff's Bronco Graveyard. So we're gonna move forward with that. Let's get to it. Okay, before we take the fuel lines off, we are gonna disconnect the fuel filler hose right here so we don't have any other issues. I think it's an 8mm. And hopefully this will come off good. And again, first time ever on the internet, you're seeing above tank action. All right, that looks good. Okay, we loosened up the filler neck. We're gonna leave it hanging there just to help support the tank when the fuel lines go. We still have to unplug the sending unit plug. We'll get to that. But go ahead, we're gonna pop the safety, the safety links off the top of the safety catches, so we get those out of the way. And now we're gonna slide the tool in there right after we, hold on, Christian. Let's get the harness unplugged first on the other side, and then we'll do that. While he's getting that harness, I'm looking at this frame. Like, it was a California and Oregon truck. It's only in Michigan for about 3 years. I've seen all this surface rust. I might come in here with a wire wheel and put some Pt1 on this frame to stop this corrosion. The bed's in fantastic shape. I'll have to do a walk around video on this and again, get some Pt1 on here and stop this corrosion. All right, we've got the harness out, and we'll probably clean that out with some aerosol contact cleaner and then pack it full of dielectric grease. Let's get these fuel lines out right now. And I know we got to pull the vent tube off as well, so we'll get to that, but that's pretty self-explanatory, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, that's in. That's disconnected for sure. But this, I got one of them, but you got them locked together with those stupid safety things. Okay, so we got one off. The next thing we got to do is make sure we get the vent tube. And I guess if your vent tube gets clogged, guys, that's why your tank won't fill up all the way. And I learned that the hard way. So we're gonna make sure that we get these done. You know, this has got to be a different size. So I'm gonna go get a smaller tool, because this line, these look like two different sizes. So again, my first time, let me grab a smaller one. All right, so I grabbed a little bit smaller one. Again, I'll put links in Amazon for all this junk. We've got the two fuel lines disconnected. We've got the vent tube hose clamp loosened and the fill tube loosened. Let's lower it down. First time on the internet showing the tank coming down. All right, set that bad boy down. Just like that, and don't mind his boots and shorts, everybody. Okay, we got the tank down. Now we're gonna take the trim ring off, screwdriver, hammer. All right, guys, always replace your sending unit. Looks like the return duckbill's in okay shape. There is no screen on the pickup tube, and it does have like a layer of goo and film and just gritty crap all over it. So make sure you replace this. We'll get the new one installed. Next thing we're gonna do now is probably address some of the rust under here. I might hit this with a wire wheel and hit some Pt1, as I said earlier, to stop this corrosion, because once that new tank goes up there, we're never gonna be under here again. In keeping with the how-to theme, I changed the rear differential fluid while I had the truck up in the air. The cover was a little crusty, so I was able to prime it, paint it, and get it all refinished with some new zinc-plated hardware. I think it looks pretty good. We just need to fill it now while the gasket material sets up. As I stated earlier, we were going to grind down some of the scale on this frame. As you can see, the truck bed's in good shape, but the frame had some scale starting just from being in Michigan for about 3 years. The state just eats trucks. We used rust suffocator. It's a chemical paint that we bought from Jeff's Bronco Graveyard. You can hit those guys up. I'll put a link in the description below. It goes on real good. We used maybe less than a half a quart doing this area right here under the truck. I also did the front hitch on this crew cab long bed. So I think it looks pretty good. Again, when I have more time, we'll do a frame off. We'll get everything off. I'm gonna be redoing the frame hangers, the shackles. I'm gonna put a new exhaust in. Eventually we'll do a whole body off restoration, and we'll either use Pt1 or this rust suffocator throughout the whole vehicle.